Good day and welcome to another episode of InsurTech Business Series. My name is Damola Oloko.
And my name is Ulumi. I'm your co-host. How are you, Damola? How have you been?
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm great. Keeping safe. That's the best thing that can be done at the moment. What about you?
Well, yeah, I'm getting ready to resume. Our lockdown has been called off.
Yes.
It's sort of going. We're trying to prepare our mind and ourselves as well for the inevitable. Judging by the rising numbers of cases, especially in our current state, some of us are, concerned. We're worried about people that might not survive it. And then again, we have to also put into consideration the economy. It's a lot right now to take on. But aside that, of course, I'm tough.
Yes, it's just advisable that everyone that is going to be going out should take out the advice that has been given by the government. Yes.
All of the necessary precautions.
Yes, it's very, very important. Today's episode is actually an interesting one. We had conversations with two different people and they were quite interesting conversations. We first had a conversation with the Chief Information Officer at Nigerian Life, Samuel Mbonu, to give us a perspective from a new entrant point of view. And then we also had a conversation with the head of digital transformation at Leadway Assurance, Adeyinka Aderumbi. They were both interesting conversations.
Yeah, I think it's actually very, very interesting. To have people that are coming into the industry, they're probably going to have a fresh perspective of how exactly the insurance industry is going to be, being a new takeover, a new organization. That's good. And also coming from people that have seen several phases and generations of insurance. Imagine having over 50 years insurance, should I say experience in that particular industry. It's a good thing that we're having both of them on board, coming from the new perspective and coming from someone who had seen this happen for a longer period of time.
We'll start the conversation with Mr. Samuel Mbonu.
Stay tuned.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Damola, for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
We just want to use this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you so very much. This is the first time I'm having my birthday lockdown at home.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of firsts for everybody in this period. I want to ask, why insurance? You have a lot of experience in the banking sector and also in the IT.
Okay, for me, I am someone that is very exploratory. I like to seek for opportunities to add value. 13 years experience in the banking and telecoms industry. I think I've been able to add so much value in that industry. So coming to the insurance, it gives me a huge opportunity to add value because I see that there are a lot of opportunity in the industry. The insurance industry in Nigeria is untapped. The penetration level is very low. So bringing my experience on board the industry, I think it will add tremendous value to the industry at large. So I see it as an opportunity. I'm always seeking for where to add value. So I'm bringing my quota on board the industry.
What exactly does your role entail at Nigerian Life, and how does Nigerian Life plan to take the market?
I am the Chief Information Officer. So I'm very much responsible for IT in Nigerian Life. My response cuts across enabling business, bringing on board IT, right? Leveraging on IT and recent technology. Ranging from artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and the rest. So I'm responsible for ensuring that business run as it ought to. And I'm also responsible for ensuring business continuity in the event of any form of unforeseen circumstances like the COVID-19.
We have been seeing a lot of content from Tangerine Life. Can you speak a bit about how the business would like to take the market?
One thing is this: if you continue to run your business model using traditional models, the business would collapse someday somehow. Technology is evolving, things are changing, there are disruptions here and there. So IT brings on board that opportunity to tap into recent technologies and trend. Gone are the days where IT is seen as a cost center. Now IT is seen as a business enabler. So enabling business, seeking opportunities, for business, and adopting, technology as they evolve in running business is at the core of what IT is doing at Tangerine. It's major for us where we want to be able to adopt technology for everything that we do. As much as we can, we want to digitize business processes, ensure that we leverage technology, bringing automation on board, self-service, and the rest.
Why, in your opinion, do you think that the insurance industry has been sluggish in the face of change, tech-wise, compared to the banking sector?
Thank you very much for this question. I've always seek for opportunities to talk about this. I have been in the bank. A lot of technology-driven innovation happening in the banking space. I would say one of the major benefits or one of the major achievements or one of the major reasons for the achievements is because there is a lot coming from the regulators, CBN. Most of the innovations you see in IT space, they are driven from the central bank. And I'll give you typical examples, right? It's either as a bank that is licensed, you need to either adopt this technology, you adopt whatever guidelines that CBN is pushing out, or you get to pay some penalty for it. For instance, the concept of the PVN, the cashless policy, they are typical examples of technology-driven innovation coming from the central bank. So that has proved the adoption. For the insurance space, we need to also borrow a cue from that. Having to drive most of the innovation from the regulatory bodies will go a long way in improving the adoption rate in the insurance space.
So are you saying that the regulator should be the number one advocate for the tech revolution that really has to happen in the industry?
Yes. I can say that. I'll say it again. And the way it also works out is this. Apart from the regulators, you could also have agents of change within the industry, right? And for instance, at Nigerian Life, we have a lot of our strategies being driven using digital, right? So if you have a disruptor in the industry, that will also other players to come on board, right? Otherwise, they die. So apart from even the regulator, we need to bring on board disruptors, right? So that's one other way you can get others to begin to adopt these things.
So looking at the marriage between insurance and technology generally in the industry, for insurers who still are asking why they should be spending so much on IT, how do you, as the Chief Information Officer of XYZ insurance company, how do you convince them that this is actually the path to take, especially in a time like this?
Organizations are coming to realize that it's either you adopt technology in driving your business processes or you die. There are many organizations that are not able to withstand the global lockdown because most of their business processes are not digitized. People have always said that most times Chief Information Officer find it very difficult, to get budget for most of this technology initiative. But with the global pandemic, it's clear. But unfortunately, as the need for technology, in driving businesses is clearer to us, the economic, downturn and the impact COVID-19 has on the economy is also clear to everyone. So getting the required budget to drive this thing is also an issue. So what happens is most organizations, they just die in natural death. So for me, I think digital strategy should be driven from the top. And that's why there are organizations today in their board, they bring on board executive directors that are IT, savvy, right? So that they could also speak to these things. So it's very clear. It's very clear. Other ways with which this can be done is to ensure that whatever you're proposing as a chief information officer is data driven, right? So that's why I tell a lot of people that you need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Things are changing, and if you do not change with the tide, you are likely to be left behind.
Hey, this is Brian Falchuk from Boston, Massachusetts in the United States of America. I want to give a shout out to the InsurTech Business Series, Falumi and Damola. What you are doing to help move the industry forward in the African continent, but also more broadly for the industry at large, is so incredibly important. As I think about the future of our industry, it's conversations like the ones you're having that will help us move forward. So congratulations on the success of the show. Please keep at it.
I want to ask, how do you think we can revamp our claims management system? This area has been a pain point for insurers and customers over the years. And those customers have, over the years as well, lost trust in the industry, not only in those specific insurance companies. Do you think tech really is the messiah?
Like I said initially, everything should be building on IT. IT should be at the core of the strategy of the business. Taking, for instance, the claim procedure you just talked about. Truth be told, there is need for a lot of collaboration, system integration. For instance, with payment gateways, integration with system verification or user verification portals, integration with the bank for PVN, validation and the rest. So if the organization sees this as an opportunity, it will go a long way in automating most of those processes. Most organizations still rely so much on paper. And the truth is, I will give a typical example with COVID-19 where people are forced to work from home, right? So are you able to get those papers, to have to scan them and all of that? But if you have a digital system, you can easily have access to this to this information, and you're able to proceed with your claims procedure. There are technologies that can be adopted to get all of this on board. There's so much happening in cloud computing technologies. So leveraging, on them will go a long way in ensuring straight-through processing and a more efficient, business process.
You mentioned that there are a number of solutions that can actually help the insurance business. You mentioned the cloud. If you are going to mention 3 solutions or technologies now that insurance companies must be embracing at the moment, what would they be?
I wouldn't want to be product specific, but I would just speak to the technologies. For instance, organization needs to start looking at AI, that's artificial intelligence. Most of the decisions are data driven. That is very, very crucial. Data don't lie. It's also clear to everyone that they say data is the new oil, and everything that you do, if it is data driven, you have some level of assurance of accuracy. You also have some level of assurance that whatever business decision that is made from data, it's worth the while. Because truth be told that with human, there are a lot of error, inefficiencies, and the rest. But when you have data driving most of the things you do, you can be sure. That's on one side. The other one is, like I mentioned earlier, cloud adoption. There are a lot of cloud providers here and there that have adopted recent technologies. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Why not just, collaborate with them, partner with them, and focus on the core of your business, so that as technology is evolving and they are adopting these technologies, you can easily, have them on board your business. And I also strongly believe that there is need for a lot of collaboration within the industry and also with other players in other industry. I will give a typical example. Why do you have to be focusing so much on KYC when there are organizations that have done it so well? So all I need to do is just plug into the existing KYC portal and have that capabilities on board. So those are things that organization needs to start looking at.
Today's customer is demanding for a different type of service compared to yesterday's, especially in the financial industry. How can insurers really leverage tech to improve customer service?
The need of the customer is changing. Gone are the days where people want to come to your office location to consume your services. Now people want to be in the comfort of their homes, on their mobile phone, and they are able to consume your services. People want to be able to consume your services in a very easy and comfortable manner. So insurance needs to begin to embrace channels that makes it very easy for customers to be able to do whatever they want. And any organization that is still looking in that traditional space is likely to fold up anytime soon. So the needs of the customers are changing. How they want the services to be delivered to them is changing. And we need to begin to change in that light. And truth be told, that is what it is today. But in coming years, it would as well change. So organization needs to be very resilient and needs to, follow the tide. What I say for most organizations is they need to have R&D teams within the organization that is looking at these changes and see how the organization can adopt, and adapt as these changes are happening.
In the age of fintech, lendtech, agri-tech, some people have said that insurance companies of the future are tech companies who sell insurance services. Could this be a fair assessment?
It's entirely true, right? Most organizations would say that are future focused, they are changing their models, right? Rather than be product centric, you're platform centric, right? People want to be able to do anything they want, and how they want to do it is something that we need to continue to look at. The value proposition is changing. What is value to me today, tomorrow may not be valid to me. And the organization needs to begin to create those values and opportunity to access this value. And one of the major challenges today is on accessibility. Most times you see that people would are forced to either come physically to offices to access this things. So all of that is changing. So technology should be at the core of every of the business strategies. So in terms of how value is distributed, how value is created, and all of that, all of those things are changing. And we need to begin to embrace that. And that applies to all the different industry. Like you mentioned, the agri industry, right? We talked about the insurance space. We talked about the banking sector. So everything is changing.
How do you think the measures of social distancing and remote working will affect the IT space? What kind of trends do you think we will begin to see post-COVID-19?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So beyond that is the isolation. Remote work has come to stay. Post-COVID-19, a lot of people would have to work from home, because gone are the days where you have to gather people in one office and you say they work from there, because it poses a major risk to their health. And also the regulators will definitely frown at that. So people need to start saying how people can work from the comfort of their home, where people can work from anywhere in the world. So that's where the remote work comes on board. So there is need to start deploying remote access VPN solutions that gives people ability to, securely connect to the resources of the organization from anywhere they are. So there will be a lot of demand for internet, a lot of demand for data. And again, as you expand digitally, there are also major risks from the cyberspace. So having to deploy the right cybersecurity controls as you expand digitally is also very, very crucial. I see that coming on board. And fortunately for some organizations, they are already practicing the remote work prior to the COVID-19. So most organizations that already had these capabilities, it will be seamless for them. While organizations that have operated traditional way would have to start considering realigning their business continuity model and their business continuity model to allow staff and employees work from home.
Earlier, you mentioned collaboration and the fact that it's very important at the moment. So you have some experience with the telecoms industry, and there have been talks about how the telecommunication industry can really help the insurance industry to improve penetration. So how do you think this can work?
It's something that is already happening. I know that the telecoms industry, there's major players there that have some products that could enable insurance companies, partner with them and have those capabilities on board. A lot of them already have good network coverage. So why not partner with them? I know a couple of them have this concept of sponsored data. They have a lot of products, that you can, leverage on as insurance companies partner with them. So it's an area that many organizations needs to consider. There's a research work that I did sometime, I think about 3-4 years ago, where an organization improved their revenue by about 200% because they partner. And in that partnership, what they try to do is to improve on the adoption rate of their digital products. And they were able to do that because they had that engagement and partnership with the telco to be able to allow the users consume their services, leveraging on the huge coverage area that the telco already achieved. So partnership, it's something that every organization must consider because there are organizations that have already done these things well. Why not have them, on board?
We're looking through your LinkedIn page and we saw that you have a mentorship program running. So can you tell us about that and how that came about?
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Some years back, I saw a huge gap between the professionals and the intending ones. And I thought that how can I bridge the gap? So that was why I did that. And I had a lot of people coming to me to seek for profession on how they can build their career in IT and cybersecurity space. So I saw that as an opportunity to give back to the society. So I a platform where professionals and intending ones can come together. So that the professionals can nurture the intending ones. They could also, talk through how they were able to achieve, the giant stride in their career pursuits. They can also walk them through on what they need to do to be able to achieve same. So that was a driving force for me. So it's more about giving back to the society and also bridging the gap between the professionals and the intending professionals.
So before we let you go, I have one more question for you. So speaking about COVID-19, you mentioned that remote work, for example, has come to stay. How do you think that technology can help?
This question, someone has posed it to me sometime, and I said, yes, technology can help you. However, there is also a need to be able to measure performance from the business space. And the good thing, I thought through it and I said to myself, it's easy, right? You give a subordinate a task to do and you have also assigned timeline to the delivery of the task. So if the task is done within that time space, we could measure productivity from there. Most times we think that everything has to be based on technology, how often is the person connected and all of that. For instance, there are some tasks that doesn't really require you to be connected to the resources of the organization. For instance, you have a presentation to do. You can do that offline. Mm-hmm. So I strongly believe that the responsibility to measure activity should lie with the managers. And again, it should go that way, from the managers to the manager's manager and all of that. So organization could adopt some kind of maybe regular meetings, where the task will be discussed and be given. So I think those are ways that can be done, and you can leverage on collaboratory tools. You don't have to be together physically to do this, right? So there are a lot of collaboratory tools that can be leveraged to measure productivity and performance post-COVID as people work remotely.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sanabonu. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Hello and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Fulumi, and joining me here is an IT veteran in the insurance industry, Adeyinka Aderombi.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Nkadirombi. I'm an IT professional. I've been at it for about 18 years now. I have been lucky to work in very entertaining and interesting industries. I started out as a service provider side, just delivering technology solutions. From there, I joined Airtel, then it was V-Mobile. Did quite about 5 years in telecoms, fun times, learned a lot of new way of working, a lot of new technologies came out, and Nigeria changed as we know it then. Then from there, I moved to a conglomerate, which is General Electric. After General Electric, I work in Conga, which is e-commerce, which exposed me to more modern technologies, web, mobile, digital marketing, social space. I've always been a solutions person from my days in telecoms, so I just kept adding the experience along the way. My journey into insurance was very different from almost all my journeys. I was invited to be a guest for May 1 Net Connect. I think that should be like 2016 or early 2017. I had a panel event which I spoke. And after the panel event, or before the panel event, I met someone and I was just sharing with her how HMOs can improve service with the use of technology. Basically, I was saying that HMOs don't need to make me wait in the hospital to verify me for my treatment. They have a contract. They can easily use a blockchain smart contract to deliver the same service with less pain for both the customer and themselves, and allow the hospital to be able to make decisions faster. Because some of those things, they are standard, and the smart contract can actually effectively manage that. That's still pending though. So after that conversation, she did find that interesting, and we had more conversation, and she literally convinced me to come to insurance because I felt, insurance, come on. What are they sure they really do technology there? Which is a mistake on my part, lack of insight and foresight. This is a multi-billion naira or dollar industry, and there's lots and lots of potential there. So she convinced me, even though the company did not start full operation. From there, I moved to Leadway, and that's been how I really got to insurance. It wasn't a direct approach. He has a lot of bends and corners, but we're here.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing. But then again, I would also like to ask, in terms of digitization in the insurance industry, do you think we have been able to meet up with other people from the other sectors you work with? Or do you think we're still at a growing pace?
We've not met up. And as you know, digitization, even for those industry in code that it says developed, is still an ongoing concern. Nobody is yet there. There's always an opportunity to use some emerging technology to either improve your service or get disrupted. But the insurance sector has been a bit slower to come into the party. But that is changing. They are now coming to the party, and that's why you have someone like me in my organization. I have my CI is very experienced, coming with a lot of IT experience. We have a lot of people with loads of technology, digital marketing. So the insurance sector is coming into the digital way of doing business. We've been a bit slow, but now we are trying to change that narrative because the expectation from the customer has changed. The type of our customers is changing, and at the same time, we have to deliver that value that we've always delivered to our customers independent of these changes. And that's why we have to move in this direction. At the same time, there are opportunities for improvement in operations and improvement in customer experience, which digitization actually offers us. As we all have discovered during this our lockdown, if you want to do transaction and you don't get to your office, you have to ride on one form of digital platform because they are easier and they are more convenient. And those are the opportunities that is in front of all of us, even as an industry. At the same time, the regulator is also pushing us as an industry towards that direction, taking the lead that both the regulator and the regulated, everyone in the industry is pushing towards a digitized space where all of us can move the industry forward using technology to drive business, to drive financial inclusion for both us and our customers.
How do you think we can penetrate that space? I mean, we've been having a lot of reports saying that the insurance industry has only penetrated at the 0.5%. I used to think that technology is the messiah, is the one that would address that particular bit in terms of distribution. What do you think?
I agree with you. To really improve us in that financial inclusion space, there are about 2 or 3 things we need to consider. The first thing is awareness. Are people really aware that these services exist? Are they aware of the value to add to their life? Are we aware of how insurance actually make you richer? You see, most Nigerians consider insurance as something that you just pay for. Insurance is part of your financial well-being. What you cannot afford to lose, you must have it insured. If you know if you lose something, your whole financial well-being will be in jeopardy. That kind of life or asset must be insured. So people need to be aware of how insurance play in their total financial and economic well-being. At the same time, we have to worry about distribution. Any good product needs to get to the market. If the cost and the speed of reaching the market is slower than the size of the market, you probably cannot service the market, which is where the technology plays in. So we can use technology to help with education. Things like gamification can actually help people to understand insurance better without them having to spend money. Things like virtual training and virtual courses can be available to people to actually improve their understanding of insurance. But more importantly, we can use technology to distribute insurance faster, similar to some of the things with the banks, things like USSD, mobile app, websites, can allow us to really distribute insurance faster and better. And if you look at some of the insurance products that we may need to take to that side of the market, some of them may be micro. The product has to carry that cost of distribution, which means it has to be distributed at a very, very cheap cost, which is some of the opportunity that technology offers you, because once you invest in your technology platform, you don't have to keep reinvesting and your service cost. You can still keep using it to distribute to people in Lagos, distribute to people in Abuja, distribute to people in Maiduguri, distribute nationwide on the same technology platform, which gives us a new opportunity to actually reach the market cheaper and better.
In terms of what you do for Leadway, how do you think that Leadway would take the market, especially now that people are looking at a futuristic use of digital application? COVID-19 has forced a lot of things.
What I do for Leadway is I lead the digital transformation initiatives for the business. And basically, this is how you use technology to improve your business, both internally and externally. How do you deliver more value to your internal stakeholders and your external stakeholders with the use of technology, which means, are you going to get some operational efficiency or deliver more value to your customer or improve their customer experience of your product using new, emerging or existing technology? At times, people always focus on new and emerging technology. Some initiatives are just the use of existing technology to deliver more value to either internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. Now, talking about Leadway, obviously, I can't say totally all the things we are doing, but one of the things that is critical is, as a business, we have agreed that digitization is a strategic course that we are taking, and that is permeating into every arm of our business. And we are leading that both on our B2B business, on our B2B business, on our every business that we are doing. We are looking for opportunity to digitize and improve experience, not just internally, but for our customers. And that's something that we are pushing, because we know that as the landscape of the world is changing, customer expectations are changing. And we plan to be around to meet that expectation. So the focus of our digitization is not just internal improvement, but we also want to make sure we deliver better experience and better value to our customers. It's a moving concern, and we are working at this day by day to just get better at it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bent, and I'm the founder and CEO of MTech, and we are based in Kenya. I am very passionate about the disruption of the insurtech space, and together with our model MTech, we are actually serving insurance platform and also white label solutions for the industry. Please keep on listening to InsurTech Business Series podcast, and I hope to see all of you at the conference in December.
Talking about improving customer experience, how do you think that insurance can leverage on technology to improve customer service and address customers' wants?
So we've already talked about the distribution part. The second part is the simplification part. Inherently, insurance can be a bit technical to both experience and to understand. And that's some of the challenges that an average non-insurance industry worker have or person have when trying to experience insurance. We can be a bit too, I would like to say, overboard with the way we communicate insurance and the way we ask people to experience it. And this is some of the places where technology can work with a bit of social re-engineering of some of these platforms. For example, how do you simplify an onboarding process? How do you simplify a claims process? Now, if you work your technology up and down, you may be able to improve this based on the feedback you get from your customer. But this is something that we have to grow into. We've not been on this journey before. We cannot say 100% this is what will work. But one of the basic things we try to push is simplification. Can we make it easy for them? Because insurance requires a lot of data to engage on basic stuff. Can we simplify this data gathering and make the experience similar? I've worked in e-commerce, and one of the things we try to do in e-commerce, we talk about this one-page checkout. You log into a page, you select your product, you add it to cart, and from that one page, you check out. So in my head, I say, is this something we can do for our insurance? But you have to now balance it with both the regulatory need, the business needs, and the experience. And that's where it gets interesting, because it's a balancing act of the three. But technology offers you the room to make these plays, and you test them in the market. The one that the market accepts, you move forward. The one that the market rejects, you bounce off.
The regulator does not support any digitization in the industry. There's no way that most of us can move forward in the insurance industry. So what do you think might be the regulatory concerns or challenges about InsurTech? And what would you advise regulators in terms of supporting digitization in this industry?
So the regulator now is pushing along on the digitization phase. I believe last check, they've committed to saying they themselves will digitize their own operations. And that changed the narrative. Because if our regulator is doing it, it now makes sure it's in the industry. We all now have to know that now this is our reality. And when this becomes our reality, the collective strength of the whole industry comes to play. And there's power in collective strengths. Remember, as of a couple of years ago, none of us were doing a banking transaction over USSD. But with the collective strengths of the banks, all adopting this platform, the customers indirectly move in that direction. So with our regulator pushing digitization, we in the industry accepting to push it more, I believe over time we'll create that synergy in which the customers of insurance have the best of all the worlds, both in how they engage us, how they experience insurance, and how even the oversight functions of insurance is carried out by the insurance company and also the regulator. So the drive from the regulator to push everybody and say, okay, we will lead this by example has changed the narrative. And I think the communication over board now is like everybody now has to come to this party.
With this whole pandemic, majority of us have been forced to make use of the available technology infrastructure we have put in place, or that has been put in place by our organization. What do you think will be the future after this whole pandemic?
Believe you me, COVID-19 has changed all the rules and broken down all the assumptions and given us the essence of what is available to us digitally. A lot of people that never thought they were having meetings online are using Zoom. A lot of people are making calls on WhatsApp to just reach customers. A lot of people are doing webinars and having conference call over all manner of technologies. We are still doing business using all our digital platforms, making payment through our digital platforms. So the experience of customers, of employers, of workers within the industry have totally changed. And it will be difficult for you to go back and tell them some things are not doable again, because they now know they have options. They now know the technology exists. They now know it is doable. So what I'm expecting post-COVID is there will be a lot of short, quick innovations, some fast-track innovations. And it may not be the innovations that you will call innovation, because I always explain to people, innovation is the use of a technology to fit your purpose. It may be an existing technology in another industry, you bring it to your own sector and you use it. One of the things that I expect to see more is more digital-based marketing for insurance, because people now know that works. More remote engagement with customers. rather than our offshore engagement. I expect more of it, and I expect more customers to even more open to just buy insurance online. But the narrative is everybody knows that you could do a lot now on digital platforms. You could do a lot online. You could do a lot now on the web. And I expect everybody to now say, okay, if I can do a lot on these channels, can I extract more value? Can I develop another maybe pipeline through these channels? And I expect that will push and drive a new wave of innovation in the digital industry.
With all of the advent of social distancing, how are we going to monitor remote working? What infrastructures can we put in place to ensure that remote working works for us?
So remote working will work as organization, number one, like I said, change their paradigm, because it's more of a mind thing rather than a technology thing. After they've changed their paradigm, put in proper policies and procedures. In a place where you are working with human beings, people need to know what is acceptable, what is expected, and what is required. So we need to have a proper, most organizations come up with some form of working from home policies and remote work policies, those kind of policies and procedures to help. And the last thing is make the technology for that available. For the organizations that have not done that before now, they're probably taking a lot of beating from the market, which is what's going to happen, because that means they can't engage with customers and they can't do business. For the organization that have done it, it will be business as usual. So I expect post-COVID, the people that have lagged in this space will join on it and try to push the ability to work remotely for the organization. Remember, even though the lockdown is lifting on Monday, it's still not business as usual. The working hours is very limited. And if you factor in Lagos, let's use Lagos as an example, Lagos traffic time, it means you will still require quite a lot of people to work from home, because if I'm going to get to the office at 9, I have to leave by 3, and I live in a far distance. What time would I leave the house? I can't leave the house before 6. If I leave the house by 6, maybe I'm getting to work by 10. Now, if I'm living far and everybody's going to hit the road by 3, if I'm not careful, I will not get home before 8. And those means, yes, we still have to now look at the options that is in front of us to make work for all of us. So I'm expecting that the adoption rate to still keep increasing in terms of working from home. And that this offers new opportunities. Things like maternity leave can be extended. People that are returning from maternity can say, okay, for now, I'll work from home for 1 more month. And that will increase employee satisfaction. You get it? So it's about how we spin it and how the organization is open and acceptable to the opportunities that remote work provides. Obviously, like every good thing, there could be abuse, which is why the policies need to be in place. The policies will drive to make sure the abuses are limited and the business can actually extract more value. Now, everybody has to own their life, which is the work-life balance.
Yeah.
When you're working from home, at some point you have to say, okay, these are my work hours. Because there's that tendency to work from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., and that's not totally healthy. I remember joking with someone and said, nowadays we only have 3 days. We have yesterday, we have today, and we have tomorrow. We don't even know which day of the week it is. We're just working. And that might not be the best scenario. So it's advised that you have a good work environment. You have hours that it's okay. Between these hours, I'm going to have a me time. I'm going to have a family time, because you still have to balance work, personal time, and family time, even though you are working from home.
I completely agree with you, sir. And you've touched virtually all of the concerns and questions I was going to raise today. So this is me here saying thank you very much, sir, for taking your time out to join our podcast.
Thank you, Ma, for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And I like the drive that you guys are trying to make insurance information more available to Nigerians, because there's additional value in insurance. When I joined the industry, I realized how financially ignorant I have been. And I've been around. And I realized how much value I have lost by not having insurance to play the right part in my financial well-being. I hope the industry does drive more and we get more people to come and make sure that their life and their finances are set in order by using insurance products.
thank you very much for staying tuned. I'm sure you enjoyed both interviews from Samuel Mbunu and Adeyinka Aderombi. You could see the different perspective and their views, as well as the uniformity in their views on digital transformation in the insurance industry in Nigeria. What do you think, Damola?
Yeah, definitely quite interesting to talk to both of them. And it generally just tells me that, one, there are opportunities, and then also the fact that we need to be doing more as insurers generally. And I know that, it's high time that we start having those conversations. And hey, that's why we have this podcast, to ignite those conversations and see how it goes from there. Because we need to enable our services, our processes with technology in order to be ready for that future. So it was quite interesting.
Hello and welcome to the new segment of InsurTech Business Series. These are the news stories. 5,000 Nigerian frontline health workers to get life insurance cover. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has received the life insurance cover for the frontline workers on COVID-19 for a maximum of 5,000 health workers who are employed to fight against the pandemic. The premium, which amounts to a total sum of 112,500,000 for the cover, has been fully paid by the Nigerian insurance industry in line with the principle of no premium, no cover. Mutiu Sumanu succeed Aj Imokwede as chairman WAPIC Insurance, and Bode Oshukoya has been appointed as the chairman of WAPIC Life Assurance. The board and management of WAPIC Insurance has announced the appointment of Mutiu Sumanu as the chairman of its board of directors and Bababode Oshukoya as chairman of its subsidiary WAPIC Life Assurance Limited. By this appointment, Sumanu and Oshukoya succeed Aiboje Aj Imokwede, who retired effectively April 27, 2020 after 8 years of diligent and committed service to both organizations. And now on a global scale, U.S. weekly jobless claims hit $3.84 million, topping 30.3 million over the last 6 weeks following the pandemic. Now we've come to the end of this new segment. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program today. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Samuel Mbunu from Tangerine Life and Yinka Aderombi from Leadway Assurance. You can join the conversation online by following us on Twitter at Insure365N. My name is Damola Oloko.
And my name is Olumi.
Take care and stay safe.
Bye.